With the 16th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District, a DC sports channel dedicated to all your favorite DC sports teams. I'm Nathan, that's Stoner, and this is Trev. And you know what? We just did a 4-hour live show that you could have seen our live reaction to it. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and check it out. It's on our channel. But we wanted to come back together after we've slept on it and think about what really happened in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. First round, big surprise right out the gate, right, guys? 5 defensive players taken off the board. Trev, were you getting excited as we neared that 11th pick?
Heck yeah, I was. I knew we weren't taking any of those defensive players that were taken early. So I was excited to see what's going to happen at 11. We're in a great spot, right outside the top 10, right at the beginning of the top 20. So, great spot. But you know what happens.
I'm trying to remember who was available at 11, specifically, like Jameson Williams,
Chris Olave.
Is Garrett Wilson still available?
No, Garrett Wilson was just taken.
To the Jets
he was taken at
10.
the 10th pick.
Okay, Drake London was gone, right?
Yeah, so it's just Drake and Garrett was the only one. So we have
Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton was on the board
too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's, for me, that was the big anticipation. Building up, and all these guys that we were kind of fighting over and mocking and all that beforehand, and all of a sudden you're getting close to 11, and you're like, 4 of those guys that we were thinking about are all going to be there. That's the excitement for me when we finally got to that 11th pick.
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening, is like those defensive players all kept getting off the board. It meant that the wide receiver group, like the top 4 or 5, that people were falling right into the Washington Commanders' laps. A lot of fans wanted a wide receiver in the first round, that 11th pick. And, it was just meant to be, right? It just felt that way. And then Atlanta at 8 took Drake London.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like there might have been a shift. That's the team that kind of put a monkey wrench into the Commanders' plans right there. A lot of talk about Drake London being number 1 receiver on the Commanders, board. Trev, was there something about that pick to you that felt, impactful in the moment?
Yeah. Like you just said, it ruined kind of our plans at receiver, but not the whole thing. Just our top target at receiver was taken by the Falcons, which we all didn't think was going to happen. I kind of did once the draft came, but beforehand we weren't thinking about they would take a receiver at all at that spot. I thought it'd be like, someone in the line or maybe even a quarterback. Who knows? But not wide receiver. So yeah, it was like, okay, since they're starting at 8, that means we're going to get somebody at 11. We're 3 picks away. Out of the 4 people that we like, we're going to get one of these 4. So
yeah, as the Jets went up there, as Stoner mentioned, like you still have Jameson Williams, you still have Kyle Hamilton, you had to Garrett Wilson, Olave. Jets took Garrett Wilson. At that point, Trev, what was going through your mind when
I was like, all right,
was on the clock?
I was like, all right, we're either taking Olave or Kyle Hamilton. It's either one of those. I know it's going to happen. Like, Garrett Wilson's gone. It's fine. Drake London's gone. Olave is right there. And then all of a sudden, boom! We get an Ali hook to the face and trade the pick back to 16 in exchange with the Saints.
And you were not a fan of trade back at all before or after it happened. You didn't like the extra picks.
This is why. I mean, extra picks are nice, but what good is it if the person we get, you know what I mean? It's like, for that spot we traded back isn't as impactful as we thought. Then it's like, okay, now we have to get some mediocre or less players in the 3rd round that we picked up extra picks in. 4th round we picked extra picks in. So it's like,
okay, here's my theory.
Great spot.
We got a theory.
He couldn't wait. He couldn't hold it.
I couldn't even get to him.
It's perfect that because it just slides right into what you were just talking about. All of us sitting here, me, you, all these people on television, all the people on the radio, what do we know about these players and these receivers?
Okay, well, duh.
let me finish this out, right?
All right.
Ron Rivera said afterwards, right? And I could be wrong because I have not been keeping tabs on everything. But did he not say that Dotson was their number 2 receiver on their board?
Did.
Okay, after Drake London. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Dotson was not the number 2 receiver on my board, your board, Trev's board, Radio Guys' boards, Mel Kiper's boards, nobody's boards, but they were on Ron's boards, if you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's lying. Who knows? Okay. So the trade back that they made was exactly what they wanted to do. Because they knew they could still get Dotson because he was higher on their board than everybody else's board. We're all influenced by these mock drafts,
by national
radio
mock drafts. Yeah.
We get all this in our ear.
Stuff, yeah.
Why is Dotson not as good a prospect as Olave?
Well, it's because we now know that he was
number. You, Trev.
Now we know he was number 2 on the board.
Right.
But beforehand,
you can't tip your hand beforehand because then something might happen. Now, Martin Mayhew, to that point, he did actually come out and say that they had other offers to trade further back.
Right.
But they didn't want to do that. That's where a lot of the fact that this was their second receiver on the board.
Right.
They kind of targeted him and they couldn't risk. And that's true. Green Bay ended up leaving the first round, 2 picks, no wide receiver. And they're pretty far back in that second round, so they might not end up with one. Washington has the wide receiver that they wanted. Maybe they wanted Drake London a little bit more, but they've got a wide receiver that happened. Now,
and how many? Well, hang on. I want to kind of finish this off, if I may.
Okay.
But how many people have told us that Kyle Hamilton was the best player in the draft, and that he might go 2, he might go 3, he might. What did he go? 14.
Went to 14.
Right? Or that this particular player is better than this particular player, or Malik Willis is better than Kenny Pickett, and all of these things. It's just because people are putting all this stuff in your head that you think somebody traded up to get Olave and you moved back to get Dotson, that somehow Olave is greater than Dotson. We don't know. We don't know his medicals. We don't know his route running. We don't know.
Obviously, but that's why
they know.
But they're experts. That's what they do for a living. So of course we're going to listen to them.
You know who's more of an expert than they are? Ron Rivera.
Well, he's not going to give out his blueprint, Stoner. So obviously we have to.
But my point is, in the end,
I'm just going to let it go.
Listen, in the end.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera knows more than everybody else.
Okay.
Now,
not everybody else. That's a pretty bold statement.
Okay.
They know what they want to do. They have a plan. That part I'll agree with you, Stoner. Now, that's not to say somebody's draft board is more accurate than another person's.
Right.
Okay, so
I was doing pretty daggone good.
You had Olave. You did. You were nailing that. What I call you, Nostradamus.
That was me last night.
Like Trev was on point making those picks happen on live recording. Now, here's the thing, Stoner. Yes, people have different boards. Yes, there's scouts and people who are way more intelligent in the world of football than we are. But you can't tell me that somebody else's draft board, the Jets draft board, who they took Garrett Wilson, or Atlanta's who took Drake London. You're missing my point, sir.
I'm saying Ron Rivera and the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bear, whoever, they are all 1,000 times smarter than Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and Dan Orlovsky and me and you and JP Finley.
So what's your point?
The point is, we're all pissed off, or in the moment, Trev is pissed off.
He's pissed off about the trade back. Well, first off, hold on.
Or the trade back.
The timeline. You're jumping the timeline on me, Stoner.
Okay.
Stoner coming in hot today, boy.
It bothers me when people say he was a reach.
Well,
what if he turns into Jerry Rice?
You ruined the timeline thing that I had rolling here.
All right.
Of course, we think that's a reach because We're listening to experts. We can't. Ron Rivera is not telling us his leaderboard, so of course we're going to be pissed until he explains afterwards. Which is why I'm going to get to the way I feel about the pick. This is fine. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But in the moment, like you last year, Jemin Davis, were you upset? Were you happy about that pick last year? Honestly,
I was not.
19?
He was
okay.
Not happy.
So you're pretty much
not happy.
I know what you're saying, but like we can't control that.
I know, but it's the adamant people just
like
being
even
upset.
After that,
after people being
people are going to be angry. Yeah, people just going to be angry
after that. And we reached, and they got an F for that pick and everything.
No.
The players haven't played. I've even seen this as far as some people are going as far as to saying 3 years from now. And I'm going to unfortunately continue with this bad timeline that Stoner's put us on.
Sorry.
That 3 to 5 years from now, that Washington's going to look back and say they could have had Olave or Jameson Williams.
Says that.
You don't know that. In 5 years, that teams can say they could have had Jahan Dotson. You just don't know how it's going to pan out.
We're living in it right now, Stoner. This is homage to you. I don't really agree with it, but it's true. In 2 years, 2 years ago, we could have had Justin Herbert, but we took Chase Young. Right. I mean, it's easy for everybody to say that. So even if they're saying that after Ron explained it, they obviously, that I'm with you on that part, Stoner. Even after Ron explained it, but like until he explains it, we have no control over that. Which is why I want to explain my reaction.
Okay. The trade back reaction. Are we back on track here?
The trade back reaction. I was really upset because
you were the only one upset. I was excited. I mean, I'm shocked. I was absolutely shocked that they did that because I thought they for certain were going to take Kyle Hamilton there.
I was screaming in the concourse when we were on the clock. I was yelling, "Trade back!"
I know you were.
It was perfect.
I was excited.
Trev, why was it they were so mad?
Why was I so mad? Because 11's a good spot. And before we knew Jahan Dotson was number 2 on the receiver draft board for the Commanders, we were going off of what Ron even said. He even put that smoke out saying that both guys from Ohio State. He even said that. Like, he put that legit smoke out. So we're basing off of that. So I was like, okay, we're right at 11. Why are we trading back? Olave is still there. Jameson Williams is still there. Hell, if we want to be crazy, getting the Kobe Dean, Kyle Hamilton, everybody was still there.
Yeah,
at 11.
At that point, you could take the
everybody that was
receiver.
Everybody that was reported by either smoke from Ron, John Keim, or Mel Kiper, anybody was providing that. We had the chance to make one of those happen, and we trade back. So I was like, okay, we're definitely going a wholly, completely different route than what all the smoke says. And then when we got Jahan Dotson at 16. I knew who he was. I thought he was a day 2 guy. I watched his press conference.
Because everybody told you he was a day 2 guy.
No, because he was small. Like he was
not everybody,
small.
by the way. He's actually small. Not that much smaller than Garrett Wilson or Olave.
I know, but when you really whatever. So I thought he was a day 2
there's
guy.
Definitely some factors. I looked at his RAS, for instance, and his RAS score, which is his relative athletic score. He actually isn't high, which I was surprised.
Press conference. The kid's a baller. And like you said, since he was number 2 on the receiver board, they clearly have a plan for him. For one, we don't know Curtis Samuel, how healthy he really is. Just because we see him pictures of working out, don't mean he's super healthy. Logan Thomas is doing the same thing, but he's not as healthy. So there's that. Terry McLaurin, he needs help. De'Ami Brown is a question mark right now. I mean, this guy looks better on tape than De'Ami Brown did on his tape, I think, personally.
Yeah. You know what he does? He does what Stoner likes. He passes this.
The sniff test. My man he's been carrying a football since 3 or 4 years old, he said. And when he
carried a football meeting Ron Rivera. Did you see that?
He does 10 push-ups ever since he was 3 or 4. So that's why he carries a football around. He said catching the football is his main, he takes pride in catching the football. You don't hear receivers saying that. I mean, a lot of comments in the press conference, and I even saw it too, reminded me of just like a Terry McLaurin Jr., professional enunciate, he can
some
talk.
People like to say he's a dog,
focused,
right? He's a dog.
He's ready to work. He's prepared. All about glitz and glamour. He's ready to go. So I am now happy that we got him. At first, yes, it was a reach. It looked like because a 16 Jahan Dotson, but
it was a bit of a surprise. I'm
happy with it. He replaces DeAndre Carter. I saw him take punt returns back in Penn State to the house.
Took his number.
Took his
He
number.
took his number. Yeah.
He reminds you of DeAndre Carter, and I'll be happy with that as a rookie. He doesn't have to come in and be like a wide receiver 2 or 3. If he can just come in and find spots like DeAndre Carter did and contribute, I like the pick. It is what it is. He's going to help our offense, and that's what we want to do in the first round is provide weapons. And we got one in Jahan Dotson, so I'm cool with it.
Good. I'm going to walk us back a little bit again. I had this whole thing planned out in my head, and next time I actually, talk out my plan.
We ain't sleeping a lot today.
We make that trade back. Trev, you weren't happy. Stoner, you were calling down the concourse. You were excited. I was shocked they did it. Stoner, when the pick came in, when this sound went off and Saints made their selection, what were you thinking when Chris Olave's name popped up?
Well,
that's my guy.
I was crushed because that was my guy. But again, I'm not an expert. He was my guy because everybody told me he's supposed to be my guy at number 11. But I did like him a lot, and I did want to see him in Washington. So I was a little bit crushed because I was hoping that if they did trade back, they could still get Olave. That was kind of my hope.
I think that was the relevant, the main thought most fans.
Yeah, I didn't see the Saints taking a receiver at that spot.
Was Washington just traded away the 11th pick, moved back to 16, and they were going to get Olave. I think a lot of people were thinking that, even in the concourse and in our comment section during the live thing. That's why people were excited. They're like, wait, we get more picks and they're going to get Olave. And then Olave's name was taken, and you could just hear the air being taken out of the stadium.
I'm not throwing shade, but only because we know him personally. George Carmi put up a GIF of Olave catching the pass.
George.
As soon as we traded that pick back and said, "Welcome to DC." Yeah, right before.
That's right.
Before Saints even made that pick.
Well,
so like you said, Nathan, everybody was ready. Like
Jason Wright was standing at the,
and that was him behind him. Did you see that? If you look at the picture, look behind Jason. That was Olave because that's what Olave's like. He's light skinned. He had the haircut. That was Olave. Yeah. And he did a picture like that to kind of hide his face. I studied that picture when I sent it in the chat today.
We got Detective
That was Olave
Trevor.
because he was about to tell Olave right there that we're taking you.
Well, listen.
Ron moves.
If it goes down and Olave is a stud and all pro and Dotson is Dotson, then we're gonna kill this franchise for screwing it up for sure.
Micah Parsons tweeted back in November of 2021 said Jahan Dotson top 10 wide receiver in the draft. A lot of experts are saying he's the most pro-ready receiver out of all the groups that were taken.
Him and Olave were the two.
He doesn't
top
drop
pro.
Anything. 2.2 drop percent or something like that.
Yeah, his catches are insane, and I mentioned the kind of like the dog.
He plays bigger
earlier.
than what he is.
He really does, and he when he catches on a defensive back, he makes sure that they know it too. And he seems like he could take a hit, even though he's got a little bit of smaller frame. Pretty impressive with that, but that's again moving the timeline here because
we're coming back to our guy because
that's what we're gonna get to here. Olave was taken at 11. Jameson, the trade up happened, and you have Jameson Williams off the board. That was by large the top 4 wide receivers. 5 varied. Whichever media outlet. Dotson, for what it's worth, depending on where you're going from, could have been as high as I think number 2 or 3 on some circles. Tay and Todd, shout out to those guys. They shared the thoughts of where they were. People had him across the media. Easily one of the top 10 receivers. In the draft, but by far and large from the media members and the scouts and the people who might be smarter at football than us. But those two being taken off, as we got to 16, Trav, who were you thinking at 16 was the option before the pick came in?
Well, hell, Kyle Hamilton was gone at 14. That was who I thought we were going to get at 16. So at 16, I was like, okay, well, we're going to either get an offensive lineman or we're going to get somebody that's not sexy, that's not a playmaker, that's going to be a project again, because that's what we do at 19 in early rounds.
Stoner was calling for Linderbaum.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know who. I was so ready for Kyle Hamilton. And then when Baltimore made their trade to go 14 or whatever to get to 14, I was like, oh, that makes more sense than coming to us. So honestly, I had no clue who we were going to take at 16.
I didn't either.
I just knew it wasn't going to be someone sexy.
I know
so.
Parker was kind of hanging around with us there, and he was saying it was going to be Malik Willis.
Right, and I was this close to being like, you know what? F it, do it. He's the best player available. Come in, learn behind Carson Wentz. Carson gonna blow out an ankle. We got Malik Willis. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, come on, but
yeah, you know what I always say when it got to 16, and then the name Dotson comes up, right?
Hold on, you hear this? The pick
Jahan
is made.
Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State.
Yeah. So then we freak out, and I freak out. Trev gets sad.
He got mad again.
He didn't know what to do.
I really didn't. I was just like Jahan Dotson because I was with Trev on that one. I had him mid to late 20s or one of the first receivers taken tonight or on Friday, right? Yeah. So when his name came up, I was just like, okay, we've got a wide receiver.
You were like Jahan Dotson, Trev, and
I was just like wide receiver, baby. Really? Yes, wide receiver. That's all I really wanted, right? So if any of those names again, I would have been super psyched. Right. But what we always say, at least what I always say, is you want the team to have a plan. You want them to execute that plan, to do whatever it takes, to look at the board and say, this is my plan. Yeah. We're going to get this player, and this is how we're going to do it. And they got that particular player, and they got a 3rd and 4th round pick to add to it. And that 3rd round pick could turn into a tight end.
Cam Curl.
It could turn into there's so many things that it can turn into.
Some good safeties out there on the board.
Safety. Yeah. Who knows? But you gained 2 players, and one of those is the guy you were going to take anyway, or possibly, if you believe them, that he was the second guy on your board. He was the guy you were going to take anyway, and you added 2 extra picks. And that's what I want to see. I want to see my team to have a plan, to execute that plan, whatever it takes. If it's moving up, moving back, whatever, get your guy. And that's what it seems like they did. It could all blow up in their face and be terrible.
Who they pick at 98 and 120 is absolutely going to be imperative. Now that 98 pick though, that's a top 100 pick.
That's a good one. They could trade away that extra one that we got to get something else in the 3rd round too. You never know.
They could package it. Absolutely right. Yeah, they now have something to package up. They have a luxury pick, in my opinion, with that 2nd, 4th, where maybe one of the QBs have fallen. Only one QB was taken. I was against taking a QB in this draft because you just spent
all that.
We're taking one.
No. I don't necessarily want them to, Stoner, but if you take one with that 2nd, 4th round pick, because like one of the more prominent ones, like Desmond Ridder, if they can get Desmond Ridder in the 4th, I would be okay with that.
No,
Carson Strong in the 4th.
No, stop it with the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Now I will say
we got to go to. Ron Rivera said we're going to training camp with at least 4 quarterbacks. We got to get somebody.
There's a gazillion out there that you don't have.
To dog.
Probably going to get someone on undrafted free agents.
As bad as our quarterback controversy has been the past 30 years, we can't afford to get some rinky-dink guy in us. We need some solid backup because
for your third quarterback,
to push Taylor Heineke, bro. Yes.
No.
Probably replace Taylor Heineke after this year. Let's be fair. That's what this pick is for.
Next year. Don't waste draft capital on a third
if that's
stringer.
The case, that means we got to be really bad again next year.
It's supposed to be Jahan Dotson time, and we're talking about QB.
Well, this timeline is taking the QB.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the QB talk here. They picked up the 98 and the 120 pick from the Saints there. I think very good. That top 100 pick is going to be very valuable. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to do here in the 2nd, 3rd rounds. We'll have a reaction video for that as well. So make sure that you check that out on our channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and let us know, what were you feeling when as the 11th pick came and they had just a buffet of players? What were you thinking when they traded away the 11th pick? What were you thinking? Yes. What's a buffet of players? Yeah.
That was perfect because it's true.
It is. Yeah, there was just everybody. It was a glutton.
Oh, we don't like buffets. Let's go to another restaurant. And they backpedaled.
Commanders fans 101. I'm telling you, they're the wackos. Washington Commanders. They're wackos, man. And then, so tell us, let us know what you think about when Olave's name was picked at 11, and what was your reaction to Jahan Dotson being selected at number 16 for the Washington Commanders. Make sure you hit all those in the comment section, because we love to see that interaction. We jump in there with you as well. And until next time, be a fan. Hey, thanks for watching us here on Ref the District. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out one of these other videos here as well. We create lots of great content. Of course, we're live every Wednesday at 7:30. Things get pretty heated there as well. Until next time, be a fan.